Welcome back. A Mainer has become quite the social media influencer. If you have teenagers, you can probably relate to Chip Leighton. He shares what he describes as funny, weird, crazy things his kids say and text.
Yeah, sharing phrases like and questions like, did grandma have kids? Do I put bear spray on before I go hiking or just when I see a bear? And my tire is flat but only on the bottom. Have helped get Chip 746,000 followers on Instagram and 623,000 followers on TikTok. It also inspired him to write a book called What Time Is Noon? Hilarious text, ridiculous feedback, and not so subtle advice from teenagers. Chip, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yes, of course.
That was one of the longest intros we ever had, I think.
Well done. Well done.
So,
I
yeah.
know, man. First of all, this isn't the first time you've been asked this, but tell us the story that one day you wake up and it's like, oh my gosh, this is really happening. I'm getting all these people following me on social media.
Yeah, well, it didn't happen overnight. I mean, it started on TikTok, and I would say like early 2021. My daughter and I we liked the platform. We thought it was funny, and we used it. And one of the things I like about it is like anybody with no following can post something, and if it's engaging enough, it'll go to thousands or even millions of people. So I just started posting stuff to see what would happen, and I didn't quite have the formula down at first. After 6 months, I had 17 followers. So I wasn't on pace, but then
you stuck with it.
Yeah. And then I posted something about marriage, and it was just like scenes from, just funny scenes from marriage, and it went viral. And then I did something on teenager text messages. A couple weeks later, it went viral, and I basically figured out, like, instead of posting weird, funny stuff, I should post stuff about my life that people can relate to, and and I just sort of built it over time. So it was like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I mean, are you getting people just following you every single day now? What has it been like?
Yeah, I mean, it's been I guess almost 4 years now, and I mean, the thing I'm most known for is the teenager text messages. And so what happens is I started with my own family stuff, but now people from all over just like send me theirs. I'm like this place that people send it, and mostly what I feature is other people's funny texts, and that's what's in the book. And so it's just been fun to see how it resonates and people kind of appreciate it.
Yeah, you're an influencer now, and so this is your job, right? This is what you do for a living?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I was in the corporate world for 25 years, and I left that job almost 2 years ago. And so I do the social media thing. I do some live performances. I've got the book, so it's been very lucky. It's a crazy kind of second chapter, and it's been really fun.
Did you have sort of a love for like comedy before this? Because you kind of give that vibe a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I was not like the class clown, and I was never like planning to be a stand-up comedian or anything like that. So it's maybe I had a little bit of the performance bug inside. I did a little theater like in high school, but I was you wouldn't have suspected it. I mean, when I started on TikTok, like people at the office found out. They're like, "What's going on? You're on TikTok? Isn't that kids dancing app? Like,
right.
Are you okay?" So.
Give us an example. We talk about your book off the top of your head, like 3 or 4 of the craziest things you think your kids have texted.
Or
my
people,
kids. Yeah, I mean, my kids. A lot of what it started out with my kids was like these crazy demands for food, just kind of like fake bossing me around. Make me pancakes, do it, that kind of thing, or feedback about the clothes I'm wearing or whatever. My daughter once told me the shirt I was wearing looked like something a baby would wear. It's one of those striped rugby shirts, so she had a point there. But there's crazy stuff. I mean, the stuff either groups into like just crazy questions, like what's grandma's actual name, or where do I buy stamps, or like instructions on how not to embarrass them. So like my friends are almost here. Make sure Dad stays in the basement. That type of thing. So, yeah.
And how fun has it been to hear from other people? Sending theirs in.
Well, it's great because people. I mean, people are awesome because they're like, oh, I had a tough day. You made me laugh, and that's all I'm trying to do. But I also hear a lot of parents say like, oh, I thought I was like the worst parent in the world, or my kid was weird, but apparently we're perfectly normal, and it's true. Like the teenage years are kind of crazy, but most kids are going to turn out just fine.
We have a picture of your family right here. We're going to show you. And the one thing I mean, just like everybody else, you have a wife, you have kids. Yeah. Would you consider you guys just a normal family, right?
Yeah, no, we're normal. Obviously, we live in Maine. I'm a normal dad and husband, and like I said, most of my life has just been in the corporate world. And I think I've heard that from people, like when I've been on podcasts or talking to people. They're like, we kind of like that you're one of us. Like I'm just one of them, and I'm sharing stuff that so many people relate to. So.
Yeah, very relatable for sure. Tell us sort of the process of the book and the response.
Yeah, so it's been great. So the book it's hundreds of these funny teenager text messages plus some stories from my family. I've got like quizzes and silly charts and graphs and stuff. And the response has been amazing. I mean, it's actually a New York Times bestseller, if you can believe that.
Wow.
And I hear, the thing that surprises me, I hear from a lot of parents that they're like reading it together with their kids, and like their kids are finding it funny, which I wouldn't have expected actually. So it's kind of book you can like just pick up and read any random page. It's not a novel or whatever. So it's fun. I've gotten great feedback.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing about this too is that not just is it put smile on people's faces, it's funny, have good conversation with the kids. It's helped supports parents too, right? Just so they understand their kids more.
Yeah, right, absolutely. And one thing I like to stress is I'm not trying to make fun of kids or criticize parents. I'm trying to celebrate teen humor because teenagers are so funny, and so it's all meant in a very positive spirit, and I like to kind of stress that too. Yeah.
I imagine that someone could come home after a long, maybe tough day and just kind of open that up and be like, this makes me feel better.
Yeah,
Is
right,
that what you've heard from some people?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big believer in the power of laughter. I think it helps, just reduce stress, and it's amazing to get comments from people like that, and a lot of people like leave it out on their dining room table, or I hear from a lot of people who leave it in the bathroom as well, which they mean as a compliment. I don't have to tell my kids that, but so it's been a wild ride.
Yeah, and not just use text from if you go on your Instagram page or TikTok from your teenage kids, but also from your wife too. Talk about some of those.
Yeah, I mean, I've done a few like romantic texts from my wife. I'm trying to think of a good example. Like one of them was, I can hear you peeing from every room in the house. It's that kind of stuff.
That's very romantic.
Subtle feedback, that sort of thing. So.
Also very relatable.
Yeah.
What is the next, couple years look like for you? Keep TikToking, but are you planning maybe more books in the future?
Yeah, so I'll keep doing the social media thing. I do have a second book I'm in the early stages of, so looking forward to doing that. I mentioned before I've started some live performances, and actually I want to mention if people want to see me, I'm doing a fundraiser March 14th for the Cape Elizabeth High School Parents Association, which is a great organization. They give grants to teachers and scholarships and stuff like that, so we'll have the Cape Elizabeth Improv Troupe there as well. So if people want tickets to that, they can go to my website, which is theleightonshow.com. But it'll be a fun night.
Yeah, it's so tough because I have teenagers, lots of them, and they're constantly on their phones, and parents always wonder, how can I get their attention? How can we relate? And this is what's nice when you come out and do something like this. Talk about that, being able to relate to each other.
Yeah, I mean, one of the challenges is like use different language, right? So I have like a glossary of the book of teen language. Not so parents will use the language, just so they could understand it. You can't be talking about Riz or how your sandwich slaps, that kind of thing. But so there's the language gap,
Doesn't really mean cooking.
So, but it's I mean, I think a great way to bridge any kind of gap is with laughter, and that's why it's fun when I hear stories of like a kid and a parent kind of laughing, or kind of like looking at each other like, oh yeah, I sent a couple of those types of messages.
That's great. Is there a website where people can learn more and find your book and more
so,
about the fundraiser? Right,
TheLeightonShow.com. It's LEIGHTON, and any of my socials, which are mainly Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. It's all The Leighton Show. They can find my videos and the book and that fundraiser link. So yeah.
Perfect.
Well, you found a gift. How's that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Chapter for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you
was
guys for having me.
great.
Appreciate it.
All right.